means, of course, it's Tuesday and it's 4 p.m. Pacific, which is amazing because Bear is a time traveler. Apparently, he's saying it's 5 p.m. in Arizona. How weird is that?
I am totally in the future right now. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen over the next hour. Over the next
I can
hour, what's going to happen, and I've already seen this, is we're going to be talking about different topics. I'm going to make some snarky jokes. You're going to make some dad jokes. And then after we go through everything, we're going to talk to the viewers and look over their comments and say hello to them. What do you
That
think?
sounds like a plan. And for the uninitiated, we are live simulcasting on 2 channels at once: My Tesla Weekend, Bear's Workshop, and today we've got a fun poll up on both channels that say, what in the heck does the B&B stand for? We'd love to see all your thoughts on both polls, honestly.
Yeah,
Let us
so
know if you
so
can hear us okay and all that. And with that said, I think we need some thumbs up and to get started.
Yeah, so go ahead and take a look at Brian's chat, especially if you're viewing on my channel. Take a look at his chat and make sure you select the correct response for the poll, and then come back to my channel and watch it here. And
That's right.
you guys on Brian's channel, my poll's better. You need to see it.
And I'm getting some very strange, very confusing comments, Bear. People are saying it's 7 p.m., it's 8 o'clock. I just don't know what to believe anymore. What on God's flat green earth is going on?
That's a good question. I heard this thing once about the Earth is round and they have to have different time zones, but I'm still thinking it's flat because no one's really given me any decisive evidence. So I think
No.
I think where I am, which is 5:04, is the correct time.
Huh.
That's what I
Very
see.
strange. Well, now I've heard everything.
Things are weird. I will say I'm not seeing anybody in my chat quite yet, and I've seen people in the
Really?
chat, but no one's commented since we've started. So I'm hoping that everything is working there.
Working. There. Now you have a chat.
Um,
So,
yeah, you know what? Seriously, nothing came up. Oh, there it goes. Okay, it is working. Huh.
so electric buses, man. Is that a thing?
That is a thing. It must be going under the radar because I don't seem to see these buses. But you're telling me that BYD has sent out 70,000 all electric buses?
Yeah. Isn't
Where are
that
they?
wild?
Where are they?
Well, I tried to look it up and I don't think I found good answers, but my guess is Europe and Asia.
Hmm.
The assembly of them apparently is in China and Canada and Hungary and California.
No.
Well, how many buses do you pay close attention to? These
All of
could
them.
also be airport shuttles.
They could be. The one in the picture looks like a giant Hertz rental car ad. But
It does.
it does.
It does. Oh, it
Is that
does.
Tom Brady driving it? Yes, it is.
Presumably.
Yeah, well, he's
Presumably. Well, he's
retired
retiring,
now.
so
So,
he's
yeah,
got to find something to keep him busy.
he's driving a bus for Hertz.
22 years. Wow.
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting that they've had these buses running for so long and had the technology out there, and nobody really noticed, did they? We didn't.
No, we didn't, but that doesn't mean no one did,
Yeah, I wonder what the range is on these buses. I can't imagine they're all that long because they don't need to be.
right?
But it is interesting that there's 70,000 of them already.
Yeah. And the regenerative braking on them has got to be quite a benefit.
You think they have it? Does it say
Oh,
that it
for
does?
sure. Oh, for sure.
But have they always had
I would guess so. My 2008 Zen Electric had regenerative braking,
it?
which was worthless because it didn't go very fast
That was
or
air
very far.
pressure against the car. That wasn't regenerative braking.
It certainly wasn't rolling resistance because those tires look like they came off a wheelbarrow.
Then let's go with air pressure. I've got my mic set up in a new spot, so if anybody can tell me if there's any problems with it, please shout it out because I'll move it. I can do tricks with my mic now, and hopefully only good things will happen. Want to throw?
I think it sounds good. Paul did say that it looks like you're sinking.
I am. We're doing a new setup over here. I'll go over this real quick. We're gonna put some stuff, shelves and nice fancy stuff right behind me. So we're putting me in the reclining position, which is how I normally sit. So we're kind of getting ready to redecorate. Where we've ordered everything in the world off of Amazon that might be electric toy related and things that aren't. So this is going to be my new position while we redecorate, which may or may not be done by tomorrow, or at least definitely by the next stream. So before I pass it back to you there, Brian, I do want to say thank you to Mark for his super chat. We appreciate that.
Very cool. So XPeng delivers over 10,000 cars for the fifth straight month. Not bad.
It's not bad. I mean, as long as we don't compare these other startups to the monster, that's not bad. They've delivered, I think, over 100,000 vehicles last year, which is really good. Neo is also up over last year, though both of these companies are running into supply constraints, which, of course, is related to the chip shortage. But I think, isn't XPeng the one that looks just like the Teslas that look like they were
Yes,
cloned?
it looks like a Tesla dressed up as a Lucid.
Yeah. Well, and then there's the future Neo car that looks like a 3 and an S had a baby, but
Yeah, just a
that one's not even out yet. Um, but they're both doing fairly well, and I've seen a lot of things coming up lately about buying XPeng stock. I don't own any, but I've just seen a lot of people pushing it, saying that they've got a big area to grow in. And Neo, I've heard similar things, but not as much as XPeng. So it's
Well, and if you compare those to the producers we think of, how many GMs is one XPeng in terms of EVs?
so 20.
What remind me what was that huge number that that GM sold in Q4?
I could almost say that in Roman numerals without really thinking too hard. But
XXVII?
something like that. Yeah. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
it. L minus M
Wasn't it
squared.
27?
It was 26. 26. You give them way too much credit. And that was including the one Hummer, wasn't it? Or was it 27 with the Hummer?
I think it was 27 with it. It doesn't matter.
Well, you're talking about like a 10% increase in production if you add that one in there. 5%.
Yeah, gotta add that.
Yeah, I wouldn't if I had 26, I wouldn't leave out the 27th. It doesn't matter when you have 300,000 or 300,001. That doesn't matter.
Right. Right. And the takeaway on this is China is absolutely one to watch in the EV space. Sandy Monroe has said it on his channel. They're coming. They're coming on fast. And you can buy a lot of these cars in the US already. And from people we've never heard of.
Yes. Yes. Because I don't know what can we buy besides the Polestar. What Chinese made electric vehicle can we buy in the US right now?
I don't remember if it's a BYD or an XPeng, but they've been seen in LA. And I don't remember the name of it, but Sandy bought some goofy one I'd never heard of when he went to the auto show,
Okay.
which he will be.
Oh, that's right.
He
He did. I don't remember the name of that one either. But
right.
I think I did see somebody do a review on an XPeng, and they were in the United States. So it must have happened.
Yeah, which means they've cleared crash worthiness and other regulatory tests.
Well, either that or they bribed the right people.
Yeah.
Right? Well, yeah.
I'd be terrified to try that.
Well, yeah. There's a lot of people who are willing to take a lot more risks than we have. That's why we haven't murdered our kids yet.
Oh, we weren't. Was I not supposed to do that? Whenever my boys act up, I always remind them, before you sass me, kid, remember what happened to your sister. And they say, I don't have a sister. I go,
Nice.
They get it. They get it.
All right. Speaking of little sisters, Kia is like a little sister to Hyundai, aren't they? Hyundai.
Yeah.
So Kia's got their EV6 coming out, and it doesn't seem to be a bad little car at all. The range is decent, being at up to 300 miles. Uh, and it looks like you've got two different size battery packs, one being around 75 kilowatts. It's a little bit lighter than the twin sister of Hyundai's iconic 5. Um, and it also comes in at a reasonable price. I think it's in the $40,000 range when it's fully loaded, which is not bad because you still get the $7,500 tax credit when you buy one of these.
Yeah, so the short range will come in for many buyers at around 35,000, which is attractive. I'm still curious how many they plan to sell, because to me that's the real limit. Is it doesn't matter how cheap it is or how good it is if you're not going to make any.
Yeah, I think they're doing. It says here that they've done pretty well in a couple other countries with this car already, so they're already kind of mass producing it. Where they've sold quite a few in Korea, I believe, South Korea. North Korea is not buying this week. I don't know what that's all about. Um, but it looks like this might be a good way for them to go. They've promised Kia has promised a lot of EVs in the next couple of years. So I think this is definitely a good start for them. 23 uh, electric, pure electric, no hybrid nonsense by 2025. So I think
Yeah,
this is a good entry.
as always, I'll believe it when I see it, because that's something we've heard from the big guys since forever. But Hyundai slash Kia do seem more serious about it, and I got to say, I like the look of it.
Hmm.
It doesn't it doesn't look weird. It doesn't look bad.
No, it doesn't. And I think the Kia also has the Niro, which is they have a full electric version of that one too. And
Hmm.
I have seen that for sale at Kia dealerships. So hey, more power to them. This doesn't look like vaporware, um,
Right.
which we constantly see on our channel. Is all these cars getting announced that do not exist.
Big
This,
promises.
yeah, I mean,
Empty big
yeah,
promises.
this is an announcement. This is more of this is the car. So the word concept was not written anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, but do electric cars even save on burning gas?
No, I don't think so. Don't aren't they powered by a gas motor that powers a generator that's inside the car?
That's a Prius you're thinking, my friend.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh, that's a
Uh,
hybrid. So yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Money Mustache on Twitter. A gas-powered car burns more energy just to sit idle in a parking lot than an electric car uses to cruise at 55. And then he did some math.
The math seems to be pretty accurate, and you know what? When you get your electric vehicle going at 55, that is such a sweet spot for the car. You're going to get you're actually going to get some really good range if you could actually keep driving at 55. But that's not the point. The point is that a car just sitting there is going to be using an ICE car is going to just be using a whole lot more gas than an electric car. An electric car that sits at idle only uses the air conditioner or the radio or whatever else you might have.
Right. Right.
So,
And you remember, I assume you did this too. When I was a broke teenager, sitting in traffic was so painful because I can just feel the pennies burning away.
yeah, shutting off the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then debating, do I really want to buy a new starter every 2 years?
My debate was whether or not do I want to shut it off and save the gas and take the chance that the car's not going to restart. That
I've
would
had that car too.
yeah. I had a couple of those cars.
Hmm. So then, of course, you always get people like Pratik Desai saying, but to charge battery, the energy used was from coal plant. That is super inefficient and a loss got lost between transfer, store, and conversion from power plant to motor.
Yeah, but we all know that's a myth. It's a
That's a
myth
myth.
because electric cars are cleaner even when the power comes from coal. This is an old article. This is from nearly 2 years ago. So you know things have probably gotten even better with the EVs being more efficient and less coal plants being out there because I'm sure some of them closed down in the last 2 years.
Sure.
So there's less
Sure.
chance the electricity came from
Yeah.
coal.
Yeah. And you can argue, well, gas plants are no better. They are better. They may not be vastly, vastly better, but they are definitely better. And it's just ridiculous. It's frustrating, and these myths need to die. You can always better control emissions at one point rather than thousands or millions of points. And putting an internal combustion engine in a car is just woefully inefficient. You lose so much energy to heat and to idling. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, what he said. But I wonder on when they do these comparisons if they take in the manufacturer of the parts that it takes to build an ICE vehicle versus an EV, because that's where the first step is measuring them against each other. Do they actually take in like what it costs as far as pollution wise and emissions wise just to build like a muffler system, an exhaust system?
I
And
believe the yes, there have been studies that track the entire life cycle of the car from mining all the way to end of life, and it still, of course, comes out ahead. Um, those are, of course, more complicated to
hey,
produce,
Brian,
but numbers are straightforward.
Brian, you're getting a bit choppy on my end.
Oh, I should be better. I should be better now. Um, yeah, measuring the life cycle, uh, all the way end to end, is what they do.
All right.
Uh-oh.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah.
Well,
Okay.
and not that we're reading chats right now, but we are. JJ just wanted to mention that all electricity is not coming from coal, so
Right.
that's a given also.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Not all power comes from coal. Yeah. And increasingly less so, at least in the US.
That is true. That is very, very true. And everywhere, it's actually very true. It's all going down from there.
For
Uh,
sure.
I think the only place where they're putting up new coal plants is probably China. That I know
India,
of.
probably.
Yeah, India, yeah. But I could see
And
China
those
putting an end
countries
to it.
they get a lot of flack for being behind the times, ignoring the fact that Western countries had 200 years to pollute willy-nilly while they got off the ground. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
So
So, yeah.
I'll do the lead into this. I have no
Sure.
idea what I'm going to say, but uh, we haven't thanked Mary yet. And one of the things that we thank her for, besides leading the way, is the fact that she brings us humor. And apparently, CEO Barra says GM can overtake Tesla within the next 3 years by 2025. But apparently, she's not good at math, or somebody at GM is not good with math, because they believe that they will overtake Tesla in 2025 and that they will be producing 1 million EVs by 2025, which is really weird because how many EVs did Tesla make last year, Brian?
Less than a million, I know that. So Mary's leading once again.
Yeah, it was less than a million, but it was like I probably have more cars in my yard to make up the million and finish that off. So yeah, what was it, 930,000?
Yeah, it was a stone's throw from a million.
Yeah.
And
So
there if you just take December's capacity and annualize it, Tesla's already at 1.2 million.
yes, they're on track. They believe that they're going to do 50% more than what they did last year, which
Oh,
puts
sorry. Not December's rate. December's rate would be even higher if you take Q4's rate. It'd be 1.2 million. China alone made 70,000 cars in December, which would be 720,000 right there, plus Fremont.
yeah, plus those other two small factories that are just starting up. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
so without a doubt, they're going to do like 1.4 million in
This year.
2022,
Yeah,
and that's they plan on continuing with the 50% over each year. So by the time we get to 2025, Mary is going to have been dismissed for not making the goal,
for sure.
not
For sure. And
understanding the goalpost.
yeah, you can make grand promises when you won't be around to see them through. And if you look at, just the numbers that we've already seen, it's it's insanity to think they're spending $7 billion to get up to a capacity of 1 million, hopefully. That's a lot of money. That's going to really hit the bottom line. And you've got to figure there is, in the past when they would tool up a new car, it wouldn't cost 7 billion. It would cost, a normal amount, 100 million maybe. And now they're gonna. I would not like to count on dividends from GM in the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I am just very confused about what they're thinking. Why they need to throw so much money at this? Is it for battery plants? Because there's other companies that can make battery plants if they want to make them together. I understand that, but I don't know what Tesla has spent over the last 15 years. We'll probably get to that before the end of this video. But that has gotten them to produce almost 1 million cars last year, plus all the other ones that they've created before then. And they're a startup company if you're looking at it that way. I'm not sure
Right.
why it takes so many billions of dollars, especially when GM has the technology already. They have their Ultium line.
Right.
They've made battery electric cars before, so I'm not sure where all this money is going, but maybe it's for
Well,
someone's golden parachute.
I don't think it's that. I think the problem is what they've made before wasn't profitable. They have to change that. And it wasn't in particularly high volume. They need to fix that. Um, Continuing down the path they're going down wouldn't have gotten them the volume or the profit, as we know, because they lost money on every Bolt sold, and now they have to fix them all.
$9,000 for each one was the number that I heard. $9,000 loss per bolt, and
Yeah.
I don't think that includes the recall, because but I'm not sure, but I
Oh,
don't think.
no, I don't believe that includes the recall. I think the recall's on top of that.
Yeah,
And I think they only have to pay half the recall. I think LG's paying the other half. But
yeah,
every battery they put into a Bolt to fix it is a car they can't make.
yes, and LG is also paying for the battery that is they still have not replaced in my solar panel setup that I've been talking about for the last year. Uh,
Well, you can just add that to your watermark because it's not going to change anytime soon. And
LG owes me a battery. I
mm,
don't want a
where's the
refurbished
battery,
Bolt.
LG?
It's going to be a refurbished Bolt battery, and they're going to stick it in my house.
They're not even going to change the shape.
It's probably still going to have a. It's going to be sitting on the skateboard, and they're going to stick it in my garage. Does this work for you, sir?
Speaking of the Bolt, which is, in my opinion, straight fire,
Fire!
Tesla CEO Elon Musk comments on future media coverage of EV fires. He predicts that now that Big Auto are making EVs, we may see fewer stories about them.
Yeah, my page took forever to load. That just was not fair. You know what? This is almost like a Sam Alexander story, because it will be the media. If there are EV fires, they will still only report on the Tesla ones. The GM Bolt fires, I don't think got as much coverage as the Tesla fires. But I believe he's right. There will be less coverage over it, just because the advertisers are now advertising with them. So, CNBC or MSNBC or Fox or whoever it is now is, well, these are our advertisers. We don't really want to put that out there. Speaking of advertisers, I'm going to change the subject just for a brief moment. Lucid is now advertising
Oh, wow.
all over the place. I'm getting ads through YouTube and everywhere. Open up a new site and I'm getting Lucid commercials. So I guess if their cars catch on fire, they will not get reported now. So that's a good way to get insurance on that.
When the Taycan first came out, there was a fire almost immediately, and it did not get much coverage. And of course, all the coverage I saw said, "Well, this is to be expected. I mean, it's a brand new car. It's a new everything. I mean, what? What?" It's like just some consistency would be nice.
Yeah. Nope.
Nope,
It's an advertising thing.
we don't do that here.
Yes. And just to we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Average fires per 100,000 vehicles sold. Hybrids are 3475. Gas gas cars are 1530, and EV cars are 25. So
25.
25.
And
I
that includes the Bolt.
Yeah, and I've started more fires than that I haven't been obviously caught on.
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Yes, I was just joking. It's YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
For entertainment
Uh-huh.
purposes only, I have started more
Uh-huh.
fires than that.
I've started more fires. This is not financial advice. Hmm.
All right.
So, do you know that non-Tesla vehicles can now charge at even more locations, specifically in France and Norway?
That is good news. I'm still trying to figure out what the difference is between France and Norway. I know they're in the same area. They got to be close to the
Hmm.
same thing. Actually, it's France and
Yeah,
Normandy that I can't figure out. Yeah, but that is good news. And I believe it's good news for people who don't have Teslas. It's bad news for people who do. I haven't run into any issues with chargers being too overcrowded that I'm going to be that nervous when the non-Tesla vehicles start rolling in. But I know that there are plenty of places in California where you do have to wait quite a bit of time. So I'm hoping that when they start opening that up in the United States, that they at least take that into consideration for the supercharging stations that are already at max and maybe not opening it up to them.
sure. And my belief is that if a station is routinely full, it won't show up on the map. And there aren't that many stations that are full on non-holidays. And Tesla's done two things to ensure that superchargers don't get too busy. One is you can charge faster, which lessens the amount of time you have to sit there. And the second thing they've done is the free off-peak charging on holiday weekends, which moves everybody into the nighttime where it's not as busy. And the images we've seen in the past of superchargers backed up with 20, 30 cars waiting, I haven't seen those since they started doing the off-peak thing. So it seems to be working, even though the number of cars on the road is increasing faster than the number of superchargers.
Yeah. And speaking of the number of cars increasing, I am just seeing Teslas everywhere, everywhere. I'll be behind them. I'll be in front of them. They'll be turning left when I'm turning right. I just see them everywhere. So I haven't seen any new superchargers lately going in. I know on the map, Tesla supercharger map, you can find out where new ones are coming in. And when you look at them, they're a different color, and you could see, oh, they're getting a supercharger there. But they always seem to, they're always 6 months out or a distance out. So I'm hoping that that is not slowing down, and or that they put faster, they like don't install the 125 kilowatt chargers anymore, or 120, whatever they are, but that they just keep increasing that network. So hoping that
Sure,
happens.
sure. And they have recently increased the maximum charging speed to 325 kilowatts in some locations, as Jeff pointed out, which not all cars can accept, but those that can, it will alleviate congestion. And I think
Yes.
the 4680s will be able to charge faster still.
Yeah, I believe that they will also. We just have to see them. Well, I'm still getting excited about seeing what they're going to come out with. I know we talked about this earlier with the Model Ys, what kind of configurations and what kind of prices they're going to be, and we're waiting for that to drop any day now. Could be a
Right.
month, but it could also be any day. So
Well, a month is a day.
it's part of a day.
It's any day. If you said any day, that could be any day. Don't change the rules on me halfway through.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Are there little
Yeah.
question marks floating above my head?
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's all the news we had this week, right?
Nah, well, speaking about charging cars, what do you charge in a car? A battery. Where do you get your batteries from? Well, you can get them from Samsung unless you make unacceptable demands. So Rivian and Samsung had a deal going, or were working out a deal to build some battery factories, but that didn't pan out for Rivian. And Samsung kind of said, all right, well, we'll just go talk to Stellantis about this. Um, Rivian made some demands that Samsung didn't feel like that they had to go by, and Samsung is in the driver's seat when it comes to a negotiation. Rivian needs batteries. Samsung's still going to supply them, but for this battery factory, apparently Rivian wanted some things, uh, or and Samsung wanted some things that neither of them wanted to do. Rivian wanted uh, more of a in-depth look at the factories while they were going on, something like that.
Rivian had requested a transfer of the battery making technology and also rights to inspect the interior factories, which was unacceptable. You think you can throw your weight around with Samsung? No, 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 no.
Yeah,
No, no, no. What they wanted was a deal like Tesla got with their first Gigafactory. Um, but Tesla was putting in substantial money, like half of it, and also bringing their own technology to the table. Rivian doesn't have either of those to offer, so get out of here.
yeah, and they are currently producing 200 units a week, and Samsung want to know how many batteries you need, how many, and
Right.
and they said,
Place the
I
order.
don't know, just give me a bunch. And
Yeah. So a quick thank you to Anthony for the generous super chat. He said, they'd be in my driveway if I could afford it. What's the latest word on the new factories? Um, if by new you mean one coming up after the two current ones that we know about, Texas and Berlin, coming online any day. Berlin's just waiting for permits. Texas is kind of waiting on nothing. They might just be waiting to finish paving that loading and logistics area just south of the factory. If you mean new factories in new countries, I have a part 2 of that coming up on Friday, and I went real deep into the math as requested. So we'll be up to a total of 24 candidate countries with all kinds of metrics and then ranked. So that will be fun. Thank you so much, Anthony.
hey, you know what? For your country ranking, just for a baseline, use North Korea.
You know, everything I looked up, that was always a blank line. There was never somehow, oddly, yeah, we don't we don't know how many cars they sold last year. We don't know how many they produced. I'm guessing it ain't many.
Yeah, yep. And you've seen the night map of North Korea, so I don't know if EVs are going to
Of
work
course,
very well there.
of course.
Apparently, they don't
Can't
have
see
electricity
the
at night.
can't see the torches from space.
Yeah, that's so sad.
Oh.
But anyway,
Anyway,
yeah.
so
So
we yeah,
that that's that seals it for Rivian for right now. We'll
for
talk
now.
more about them in the future,
For
and
now.
hopefully they can get
The
that
last thing
worked
I want to
out.
say on that is, yeah, they're only producing like 200 a week, I think you said.
Yeah.
And production is hard. Ramping production is hard. And the fact that their head of that left the minute they started production is bad. It's bad. It's easy to get everything going perfectly if you're going to leave the minute it's time to verify that it's perfect. Anthony, that's going to be Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific. Is my live stream on that topic.
How's your poll
So yeah,
doing?
we can move on to Tesla don't burn any fuel or cash anymore.
I got
Yeah,
a
what an
nice
exciting.
ad with mine on the right side. Sorry guys if that's inappropriate for your work, uh, but I don't control the ads. So how much money do you think, based on this, did Tesla spend to get where they're at? Like where they're in the red? That's pretty much how much money that they've put out, right?
Yeah,
Before,
probably 15 billion would be
yeah.
my guess. Um, I mean, you could just kind of ballpark and add these up and get your answer, but it's difficult and expensive, and staying in the red for a lifetime red because it was only lately that they actually got above water lifetime.
Hmm.
It was only in the last quarter. It took 17 years for them to become lifetime profitable, which is, I mean, can Rivian survive that long? Can Lucid? I don't know. I don't think they'll have to. I think they'll be profitable sooner than that if they survive at all. So we'll see. We'll see.
Well, kudos to Tesla for doing it. As far as Rivian, they look like they've got a harder road ahead of them than I think Lucid does. I know that from what I've seen, Rivian is probably producing more cars than Lucid right now. But I think Lucid has probably got a better chance of surviving this initial cash burn and a production ramp than Lucid does, or than Rivian does. I've got a little bit more faith in Lucid right now. I might have felt differently 6 months ago, but the way it's looking right now,
Well,
uh,
and the important thing to remember is uh, how long it takes you to become profitable can be a factor of the scale of your ambitions. So, like Amazon lost money for ages, but it's because they didn't want to be an online bookstore. If they had just been happy to just be an online bookstore, they could have become profitable almost immediately.
hmm
But they were building on to other things. They built their own entire supply chain. Um, that costs money. They expanded into Amazon Web Services. That's their cash cow. So if you want to look at it and say, well, you know, I could make 5 cars and be profitable this year. Now, I can't grow at that rate, not while being profitable. So
no,
just a little consideration there.
of course, of course. Uh, let's see here. So, since we were just talking about Lucid, and did you get a chance to see the drag race between a Lucid Air Dream Edition, which is the top, and a Model S Plaid, which is
I did
also
not.
the top?
I did not see it. How did it go?
Well, it went to be expected if you believe the paper numbers. They were actually put down. Rubber meets the road, and the numbers were matched what the paper specs say. And the Model S won 3 out of 4. And the one time it did not win, it turned off its drag race feature, which is called something that I don't remember, but launch mode.
Launch or cheetah?
Launch mode. The one time it did not use launch mode, the uh, Lucid was able to beat it. Now, some might say, well, if launch mode, it takes 3 or 4 minutes for the car to be ready. Uh, the Lucid they were given certain instructions by Lucid on how to prep the car for a race. They had brought it to the drag strip earlier, and then Lucid emailed them and said, follow this instructions to prep the car. So on their second day of drag racing, they actually did all the prep. And while it may not have taken 3 or 4 minutes right at the moment, they did need to prep the car in order to have its own little launch mode. Oh, I hit the mic. I hope I didn't deafen anybody with that. Sorry, I'm talking with my hands today. So both cars has a little process to race, and the only one that Lucid was able to beat them on was when the Tesla did not do it. But Lucid, in their defense, they have built this car, as they say, for luxury and efficiency, not for performance. And I would definitely think that the uh, uh, the the Plaid was built for performance. I think that was a
Absolutely.
in,
Absolutely. And what I understand too is that the Lucid is geared in such a way that it's a high end performance is better. Though I've seen tests of that where they said that the Plaid performance from 60 to 100 was also better than the Lucid. But again, you got to remember, this is a first product. This is the first car they've ever made. And it's awfully good.
oh
It's
yeah,
awfully good. I
and
mean, for that price, it should be, but
yes, and for what they're building and where they're at, it's phenomenal. And the only people who are really going to care about quarter mile times are people who are going to actually take their cars out to the drag strip. And it's great for YouTube videos. And I definitely recommend checking out those channel drag times and seeing what they have there. But most people who are buying a $169,000 car are not drag racing it. And they're going to beat 99 out of 100 cars just on the street anytime, unless they come up against a Plaid S and they start revving their fake engines and taking off at a green light. It's not going to matter. It's not going to
Right.
matter. It's a awesome first attempt, and I wouldn't even call it an attempt. It's a first shot. Uh,
Sure.
so they've done fabulous on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, let's get more of them into more hands is all I can think.
Yes. Brian, can I borrow 165,000? I'll come up with the rest so I can get one of these in my hands.
Of course you can, just not from me.
Oh, oh. I have a Patreon account if you would like to put in $164,000. Um, I would appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'll get a Lucid Air and I'll let you do the videos.
That seems totally reasonable.
Yeah.
Um, so I think we can address questions. I did see one on your channel. User 9 said Tesla Plaid is tri-motor, Lucid dual motor. I don't think that's the issue. Lucid has more horsepower, doesn't it? It's
Yes, it does.
1100 versus slightly less than that. I don't think that's the issue. Lucid's very heavy. That could be part of the issue. And maybe they'll make an even faster Lucid at some point. I assume they will as technology improves. And they seem to have very good battery and motor technology. I think that's their strongest element is
Yeah.
their technology.
I think if Lucid wanted to change certain things around in this car to make it beat a Plaid, they could, but then they're going to sacrifice something else. It might be
Right.
range or efficiency. So,
Right. And that's a race. uh, Going for the fastest, there's always a bigger dog.
yes. And since we're on my chat asking
Sure.
my viewers what important
Sure.
questions that they have, JJ had a question. Mobile charging station thoughts. I don't know if you saw it, but Nicola put out a mobile charging trailer, an MCT mobile charging
Okay.
trailer, and they will be delivering these trailers to companies that have bought the Nikola Tre BEV. Park
Okay.
them there, hook them up. It just takes a 240-volt line, and they will be able to charge up uh, several vehicles overnight with these mobile charging stations. What the costs of these are, I don't know. And you can
Ready?
put,
I'm sure.
yeah, well, maybe. It doesn't seem like it's much different than, say, like an Electrify America charging station. And it probably, oh, actually, it's not Electrify America. They were using one of those at the Nikola factory, but the other one was started with a T, I believe. And they're making the mobile charging stations, rebranding them with Nikola logo on it. So they'll be sending those out to their customers so that they have a way of charging these trucks up on site.
So the concern I have with that is just cost. Um, Whatever battery you put on the truck is going to have to be larger than the sum of all the trucks you wish to charge with it. So you're talking megapack size, and Tesla's megapacks are competitive, and they're $10 million each.
Oh,
Um,
there is not a battery on this mobile charging station. This is something
and
that you hook up to your facility. So if you've got Joe Blow's trucking company and you've
right.
got 100 trucks parked there, you find a place and you're plugging in this mobile charging station, and then it's going to convert it into, I think, 175 kilowatts. So that
Oh, so then that's great. So all it is a
just
elaborate converter.
yes, uh,
That's
it,
great.
yeah,
That's
and
smart.
and you can have multiple chargers on these trailers. And the
Sure.
trailers look like they're probably about 6 by 12 enclosed trailers. Um,
Sure.
we had spotted one a couple of weeks ago at the factory. Didn't realize that was going to be a big thing for them, but they put a video out yesterday, and it was pretty nice. It's a very nice looking trailer. Also, it's not like one of my trailers that are beat the hell, but it looked like a very nice place. Like if you didn't know you were in a trailer, you'd be like, oh, okay, and you wouldn't think twice about it. But being portable obviously adds to it to the benefit.
For sure. For sure. So on my channel, I'm seeing a lot of comments about from earlier about all the other companies that buy ads, even ones who say they can't build cars fast enough. There are a lot of GM ads. There are a lot of I saw endless Porsche Taycan ads, the ones with Bill and Ted. that I was confused because I thought the cars were sold out. Apparently they weren't. Apparently they were available for like same day purchase in a number of locations. So yeah, do your cars sell themselves or not?
Well, we know whose cars sell themselves. Anyone who has a back order right now is going to be doing okay. But if they have to sit on a dealer lot, yeah, it's different. I heard a rumor. Someone said I think Ford is going to start selling direct to the customer. I don't know if they're even allowed to.
I
Uh,
I imagine their contracts rule that out. They would have to do what GM did with Cadillac and offer to buy them out or agree to new terms.
hmm
And Cadillac lost, I don't know, 2 dozen dealerships over that.
They lost more than that.
Was it?
Yeah, but that's probably okay anyway.
Yeah. There are I'm just telling you, man, these are exciting times. I think 2022 is going to be a pretty monumental year for EVs generally. I'm excited about the European players. I'm excited about the Chinese players, and I'm definitely excited about the two new factories on the verge of switching on.
hmm Yeah, they could have switched on today. While we were talking, we could have missed it.
That's
Is
true. We wouldn't have known because I'm
yes,
too busy focusing on you, Bear.
yes, the Beauty and the Beast.
By the way, we should look at our poll results. On my channel, it looks like the winning answer is bed and breakfast. That's what fast charging with bed and breakfast.
Well, you want to tell everyone who can't see what your other choices were?
Oh, sure. The choices were what does B&B stand for in fast charging with B&B? The options were Brian and Bear, which is at 25%. Pop that on the screen. Bear and Brian at 9%. Sorry, Bear. Bulls and Bears at 16%. And Bed and Breakfast leading the pack, 49%. Polls aren't closed. You can still get a few answers in on either channel.
Yeah, what's
What about
funny
you?
is
What'd you get?
you came in. Brian and Bear came in second to Bed and Breakfast. On my channel with the same question, Brian and Bear got 13%, which that's GM levels, by the way.
I'm
Bear,
leading.
yeah, you're leading to the bottom. Bear and
Mm-hmm.
Brian came in at 36%,
Mm-hmm.
which happens to be a winner. And
Mm-hmm.
Beauty and the Beast came in at 28%, and Big and Bouncy beat out Brian and Bear with 23%.
See, that makes sense because Big and Bouncy, I think, is both me. And that wouldn't work. Beauty and the Beast, that's just more confusing because I'm pretty sure I'm the beauty.
Yeah, maybe that's going to be next week's poll. Who is the beauty and who's the
Oh, no.
beast? You don't. Oh,
Yeah.
you don't want to do that poll, do you?
No, no, no. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Boy, we both got quite a few votes on that. It's surprising.
Yeah, I got 47 votes. Um,
So, guys, we are going to be shutting her down promptly in 10 minutes or less. So, if you have questions, now is the absolute best time as for to ask them.
yes, and please do, and ask on my channel because Brian likes to
Ah,
hijack my questions anyway.
I do. That's true. That's true.
Yes,
I definitely pay attention to both chats because I appreciate viewers from both channels. Last
and
week on this podcast, I picked up 1 subscriber and I lost 0, which is like a new record.
yes, that is. He's usually in the negatives. So, um, I had someone ask me, have I checked out the Pulsar BEV? I did get into one. I did not get to drive it around. It was in a mall up in Scottsdale, Arizona, not too far from the Lucid studio. And I did look at it. I wasn't overly impressed with the looks of the car in person. It kind of just reminded me like of a Ford Fusion.
Mhm.
But maybe out driving it, it would be different. But I would like to get a chance to drive one at some point. There is actually nothing I wouldn't mind driving. I will be driving a Electromechanica Solo on Saturday, which is going to be fun. And if you guys have ever seen Tommy Boy with Fat Guy in a Little Coat, that's going to be me getting into a Solo, which is a single person three-wheeled vehicle. And I'll be having a video come out on that early next week, but it will be silly. But
And those, I
I'm
think
gonna drive it.
the reviews I've seen were pretty favorable. I just think one person, one occupant, is too limiting. I think it's too limiting. Um,
It's a niche market, but I think for people carpooling, it's going to work. It's going to count as a motorcycle, so you'll be able to
oh,
use HOV lanes. It doesn't need all the safety equipment, so if somebody hits you, you're going to die
mhm.
a horrible, painful death. Um,
So I got a great question here from Paul. Any guesses when we'll see Wise rolling out of Texas in meaningful quantities since the line is running? What do you think, Bear?
I'm going with any day, any
That
day.
is my take as well. I don't know what the holdup is. I don't think it's the batteries. I don't know what it is. I don't think there's a holdup. I think they're going to switch it on any day. And I think the ramp will be at least as fast as Texas. Oh, no, wait. I'm sorry. I do know what the holdup is. They're still validating the vehicle. So that means they might be doing crash worthiness, but probably not. They're probably racking up as many miles as they can, as quick as they can, to validate the vehicle itself overall. And I'm sure it's fine. So it's any day now once that is complete.
Yeah, and it'll be nice to see those cars rolling out. I really thought it was going to come sooner, but knowing that they're going to be doing 4680s in those cars, I understand why it took longer. And in Germany, it took longer because they're still trying to get signatures. They still
Right.
haven't bribed the right people.
They're ready to go. You've seen hundreds of them produced,
Mm-hmm.
but they got to wait. Um, what manufacturing? Where do you think Optimus will be produced? Sub Optimus, the Tesla bot. Where? So for a pilot and validation, I believe in Fremont, or maybe in Texas if that's where the headquarters actually is. But I think it'll be in Fremont because that's where most of the engineering is currently. And where will it be made? I think a new factory, or at least a new building in
I
an existing location.
I think it's going to be at the Texas facility, not in the Gigafactory, but in one of the buildings that they are going to build around it. They have so much more land there.
Right,
2,600 acres is nothing to sneeze at whatsoever. That
bigger than
is,
Monaco.
yeah, it's several square miles of land. So, and you know that they've already graded for two different buildings that they put on hold. So they're ready to start putting up a couple different buildings there. So,
I agree 100%.
yeah, I don't think there's any reason for them to start this process in Fremont. They want to keep building that factory out for cars, not for robots. If it's going to be any other factory, it might be Nevada, but I doubt it because they don't have the manpower, the talent in that area of the country.
Anthony said, I bet Optimus will roll out near the Neuralink locations. They have synergy. And I would disagree with that. I think Tesla Bot is more closely related to FSD and Dojo because that is the missing element. I'm working on a video about Tesla Bot, but it got out of control. It is too in depth and too long. I was going to do it as a live stream, but it just got way too important to rush. So
Well, we'll be looking for that if you ever change your mind. That would be fun for me
yeah,
to watch, not fun for you to do, but that's life.
that's a
Put
separate
it
matter.
put it out for us, would you? Would you?
Absolutely will. Absolutely will. More rubber stamps needed in Germany. Yeah, maybe that's the supply constraint. Insufficient rubber stamps. But they've got an abundance of red tape, so I don't know. Maybe they can make cars out of red tape.
I'm telling you, they haven't paid off the right people. Um,
Yeah, maybe.
do you have sirens behind you, or is that me?
I do. That's me.
Okay. Can you hear the
They're
dogs
coming to
barking
get me.
behind me?
I don't hear
I
anything now.
I
I do.
have dogs and you have sirens. It
I see
probably
a very authentic and genuinely wooden wall.
that's totally real. Yeah. Yeah.
So is my brick.
Yeah. Of course
This
it
is
is.
real brick, you guys.
You know
Oh my gosh.
that's reclaimed wood and that's reclaimed brick, right?
It's pre-claimed brick.
Your brick came from like a potash factory or something. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
And
What's funny is I bought a larger size than usual. So rather than tile it, the bricks are slightly oversized. Oh,
yeah,
Amazon, is there anything you can do right? All right. Well, I think we should go ahead And to wrap it up, as a reminder, everybody, this is simulcast on Bear's Workshop and My Tesla Weekend. How cool is that? So if you haven't subscribed to both, I don't believe you because it's this late in the video and you're still here. Why would you be such an obviously huge fan and not do that thing? Pretty
Yes.
weird.
So hit that subscribe button on both of our channels. Hit the like button on both of our videos for us. Just do us a favor so more people can see it. We would really appreciate it. And we also both have Patreon accounts. Brian is currently kicking my butt in that. So, it is what it is. I'm going to sign up to myself so that I can win a bet. But it doesn't seem very cost effective. So anyway, Brian, I know he's got a couple more live streams this week. I know he's got one on Friday. And when else?
Just the one.
Just the one. Okay. And I've got my next live stream tomorrow afternoon for... Who is it? Lucid. We'll be doing our Lucid live stream tomorrow afternoon. And after we do our flyover of the Nicholasite and Lucid, I'll be live streaming. And then my next one won't be till next week either. So that's all I got.
Yeah.
What about you, Brian?
So, yeah. I did want to say a quick thanks to my Patreons who, get the early access, the bonus content, the ad-free experience, and access to my very unusual trackers, which are just a world of fun, if a bit challenging to maintain. So yeah, good stuff. And that's all I got, man.
All right, great. That's all I got. So guys, until next time, we'll see you later. And thanks for watching. We appreciate